After 8 years of developing projects that never saw the light of day and some minor success in Terraria modding, it was time for me to make my first game that would actually get a Steam release. How could I make sure that this one would go live? I needed an idea that couldn't go wrong. Something small, something realistic, something a beginner could make. So I decided to make a factory automation game with the same scope as Factorio.
A foolproof plan. Something that couldn't go wrong. These games are easy to make, right? So here's 6 months of development on Core Splitter.
Chapter 1: Factory Conveyor Belts. So there I was, starting on a prototype for some nicely working conveyor belts. No idea yet of what to do with them. All I knew was that I wanted a 2D system like Factorio that could move stuff to and from machines. And unlike Factorio, didn't rely on inserters, but could directly plug into buildings. It took about 8 prototypes, or iterations, to get to where we are right now. In this first prototype, we can place a machine that produces something, and have directional arrow tiles that can move something smoothly across it. In this next prototype, there's already some basic assets being used. This is definitely a placeholder asset for the path, and you can see that sometimes when you drag a path, it's very strange, the shape that you get. In this next prototype, you can see that we're still using the same shitty assets, but we now have a splitter in the middle that can divide the one path into 2 paths. Here's one with a new asset that I thought was going to be permanent, and here we have some corner logic. As you can see, it's completely broken, but I think we managed to fix that in a later version. In this one we have some nice sound effects and also the solution for belts that need to cross. We have the belt teleporter building, so that you can teleport items across belts for up to 5 tiles. Here we see the first version of the animated belts. As you can see, when you click them together, they still don't line up well. I don't think I was ever going to have a solution for that in this version. Also, the belts don't automatically turn into corners, so it looks like everything is a straight belt. But I was pretty happy already with this animation. Here you can see a nice bug where, because I didn't draw the conveyor belts in 4 symmetrical directions, the straight path between 2 corners, if one corner is flipped, can never match up. So there's just a horrible bug. Because we had that bug, I ended up redrawing the entire asset again. I also added some more smooth pathing. That's not just an L shape, but now you can actually draw an entire path. And I also added the fix for those curved corners. So this is the version we actually went live with for the itch demo. I say we, it's just me. I thought it turned out pretty good at that point. By the way, the itch demo version is still up. You can check that out, but at this point it's really outdated and nothing like the final product is going to be. So this is the one I thought would be permanent, as we are now 3 months in and I've seen at least 5 iterations of these conveyor belts. But then this guy showed up in the YouTube comments on an Orbital Potato video saying, "It looks out of place, they seem far too simplistic compared to your machines, though I assume they are only placeholder sprites." So there I was, 3 months of work, many evenings after my full-time job drawing assets, trying to get pixel perfect transitions between these freaking belts, 5 iterations in, and this guy calls them placeholder sprites. Was this it? Was I going to quit game dev? Hell no, because this guy right here, he was actually right, I have to admit. So back to the drawing board. How do these belts work in other games? What the hell is even a belt? What is this satisfactory magic of just being able to place stuff down and it works with any shape or path? Splines. Here's a spline. What's a spline? I don't know, I just used them. How do they work? Ask the me from 4 months ago who implemented this and he'll tell you. I have no clue. Is this even a spline? I call it a spline. Anyway, here's what they do. You draw a curved path along the connected belts, and if there's a rotation, you follow the path. So you can basically just aim your sprite towards whatever the path is doing. So what's our new belt sprite look like? This. This is what our entire new belt system is made out of. 184 beautiful pixels, and it creates an entire new belt system with no extra manually drawn sprites. So another month later we had spline-based conveyor belts and everything was perfect. Except it wasn't. And on October the 29th, it was time. We closed the chapter with the last commit message. It reads, finalized belt rework. That's it. We were done. The perfect belts were here and they were magnificent. Wait, what's that? Oh, more belt change commits. Sort of happy with belts finally. Yep, that's about the confidence level I would expect at this point. Now, these are actually the final belts, but who knows? One YouTube comment could destroy me again, so we get another 5 iterations and months of work. Chapter 2, the core splitter drill. In Factorio, you launch a rocket. I needed a twist, a big twist. But what's a twist? What is the opposite of up? Down. In core splitter, you go down. That's it. That's all I could think of. So I added this building, the core splitter drill, to, drill down and split the core of the planet. So that's what I did in the itch demo. Just a building and a drill depth indicator. Was it fun? No. Did people get it? Not really. It's kind of where they quit playing actually, when they got to this building. Here's what another YouTuber, Orbital Potato, said after playing the demo for over 2 hours. There's literally a 0% chance that I'm going to be able to get to the bottom of this. Yikes. So was this a bad idea? Not necessarily, it just needed to be more fleshed out. So I started looking for things I could add. We needed to see what was going on inside the drill. A visualization of the drill shooting its lasery goodness all over some tiles. Well, that's better, but definitely not fun. What is fun? Abilities are fun. Game about feeding a black hole. That came out recently. That's fun. Path of Exile. That's fun. What do those have? Abilities and progression. So I added abilities. Lots of abilities. I added lightning, lava, explosions, gravity shifting, laser teleporting, and that's it. I'm not too happy with it even now. It's not finalized. I'm gonna add lots more, so stay tuned. Chapter 3, Factory Combat. So now we have some mechanics and our big goal, splitting the core of the planet. But what do we do to get there? Capturing this planet's points of interest with logistics, combat logistics. Here's how it works. You automate your resources, you belt them into fabricators, they produce military units. You belt those into sites and then you fight. You win? Unlucky, because this site constantly wants to rebel against you, costing you upkeep to keep control of it. Here's how that used to look in the earliest versions. So we are producing some units in this building. That's the unit being produced is the dentist sound you're hearing. It's awful. I don't know why I chose that sound. I need to get rid of that. It's still in the game. Please get rid of it fast. And as you can see, we are inputting those combat units and we are starting combat in this site capture screen. It's like a 1 versus 1, but you have a queue of units that are in the site. It's a bit strange. So I got rid of that and I made it an auto battle system. Here's what that looks like. Of course, we still have that nice drilling sound that you would hear if you have a cavity at the dentist. As you can see, units still being produced, units still being input. That stayed the same, but now we have a start combat button. When we click the start combat button, we actually go into a separate screen where we deploy our units to a field. And then they start auto battling one versus one still. And there's a speed option down there. I still didn't like this version because it's a little bit slow. So what I did is I changed that one to have all the units take their turns at the same time.
So what am I actually making here? I'm making a factory automation game with the goal of splitting the planet's core with a giant laser drill that uses abilities and can be enhanced with your factory's output. There's auto battles via logistics and some funky stuff like the fact that I'm putting some of the failed projects you saw at the beginning of the video into the game as mini games via a building called the entertainment unit.
Now there's a lot more to this game. I can't show it all off here. I probably should. It's a factory builder. I haven't shown much factory building, but trust me, it's fun. The belts work well. You saw that. So it seems like every time that I look back a few months on my own progress, I see mistakes, things I did wrong or things I was able to improve on. So what tells me that this time is different? How do I know I'm doing the right thing this time? I don't. That's the point. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think that's kind of how most game dev goes. You do stuff, you test it out, and you see if it's fun or not. If you think it's good enough now, it might not be good enough later. If you think it's fun, do other people even think it's fun? That's something you need to verify. And so far, only a handful of people, other than myself, have played the game. So who knows what people think? It could be called slop or Factorio ripoff, and I have to be okay with that. For context, there's only 11 2D automation games that have made over 50,000 US dollars, and I'm already a few $1,000 in at this point. I knew that making a factory automation game was risky, and I have no idea if it will pay off. There's not a whole lot of automation content creators and not a whole lot of success in the genre in general, but I really enjoy these types of games. So if a few people can have fun with it like me, I think that will be okay. If you think you could be one of those people, feel free to wishlist the game on Steam. There's a playtest soon. Thanks, and see you in the next one. Bye.